These are hawksbill hatchlings. They were found at Almond Beach, an indigenous community and the main turtle nesting site at the Shell Beach Protected Area in Region 1. Before long, they move into the Atlantic Ocean and will possibly return many years later when they're fully grown. Hawksbill turtles are one of 4 endangered sea turtles that nest along Shell Beach every year, primarily between the months of February and August. The Shell Beach area, which spans 75 miles, is Guyana's only coastal protected area. It hugs the Atlantic Ocean at the northwest edge of the country, making it a good spot for turtles to nest. Almond Beach is one of the 10 beaches found along that protected area.
Over the years, Almond Beach was one of the best places. A lot of people across the globe know about Almond Beach due to the turtle nesting here. Guyana is a lucky country to have such a wonderful sceneries and things happening directly by nature. We are one of the few countries where 4 turtle nests.
For decades now, Arnold Benjamin has been living at Almond Beach. He focuses on conservation and turtle protection. Over the years, however, he has witnessed the community get smaller and smaller. Why? The mighty Atlantic Ocean has been washing away parts of the beach.
Everything was good until like gonna be 97, around 2005. That's when the erosion pattern actually started. It was really rapid, forced people to move. In the space of a year or so, we lost like 2 miles of farm and bearing coconut trees, and that's what actually make people start moving from the beach.
So the school is not there anymore?
Yeah, well, the school location was in the central at the time, and it lasted for quite a long time. And then the erosion started to affect it, and we asked the government to move the school, which they willingly did in a short period of time. And we moved it to one location where it was like for about 8 to 10 years, and then the erosion pattern was there again. And we asked them, and they willingly moved it for the second time actually. And when the erosion pattern came again, we asked them, but they was gonna move it, but I mean, we realized that it's only a waste of money, you know. So we asked that we get a place in Marlborough.
That washing away is known as coastal erosion. I asked the Protected Areas Commission about this phenomenon. The PSC is the body with oversight for Guyana's protected areas, including the Shell Beach area, and the responses I got were very telling. Now, the PSC in a written response highlighted that the coastline had a mass area of about 1.3 miles in 2019.
In 2022, that was reduced to a mass area of about 0.7 miles.
These were some of the satellite images they shared with the newsroom illustrating the coastline change. The beach is eroding from the eastern end, while accretion, which is the dumping of the materials washed away, is happening at the western end. The coastal changes are part of a seemingly natural 30-year cycle, but the PSC also said, quote, "These changes are believed to be a result of climatic changes which have resulted in stronger ocean currents and intense wave action," unquote. Based on their data too, there were 70 people living there in 2014. At the beginning of 2023, only 3 families were living there. Some believe those residents are climate migrants because erosion, as a result or worsened by climatic changes, forced them to relocate. The Thorn Hills are among those who remained, at least until now.
Well, over the years, it was not like affecting us like how it during this time. Back in the years, the erosion was like slow.
Okay.
But like from 2 years back, like we experienced that it moving very fast. We had to move, we had to shift the cap. As the beach go, we come with the beach, right? We come down with the beach. This beach was like, when I came here first, it was like approximately like 15 miles. From the Winey Point to the other end. Most of my children, they are born and they grew on Shell Beach. So like it's kind of hard now for like take them from here to another place which will be strange for at least for me today, right? Because we are all accustomed living here already. We got our little farmland. We have what right now we can see the erosion what is taking place. We still will be remaining until wherever.
While rangers frequent the beach during the nesting season, Leonard Thornhill is among those there year-round. That's why he was able to find a few hawksbill hatchlings on the beach when I visited at the end of this year's turtle season. He instinctively collected them and kept them safe in his yellow bucket until nightfall, the time when they can be left to venture into the ocean. If he hadn't picked them up, intense sunlight or dogs on the beach might have harmed them. Like Mr. Thornhill, Almond Beach residents all know the importance of protecting these endangered species. Sita Augustus, for example, grew up at the beach with her family. She moved away to attend a secondary school in Mabaruma, the capital town about 30 miles inland. But she's now back as a ranger on the beach, helping to protect the turtles. But as the beach erodes, so too does the nesting area for the turtles. Sita recalls just how vastly different Almond Beach was even just a year ago.
It had a primary school, a guest house, a health center, a ball field, and a church. The church and the ball field were like 9 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And the school moved last year. It's last year. It's very saddened to know because it's my hometown and I born and grew up here and now everything is washing away. And it's very hard like to see everybody moving away.
Yeah.
So it's really hard.
Yeah, I understand.
The changes Sita talks about are more apparent when you're on a boat sailing on the Atlantic Ocean and looking towards Almond Beach. The coastline was right here just a few years ago. Now it's much more inland. To understand more about what's happening here, I asked local scientist and engineer Dr. Kofi Dalrymple about coastal erosion in Guyana generally.
Dr. Kofi, people are hesitant to talk about the effects of sea level rise on coastal erosion, but the first thing I wanted to sort of explain is, what is coastal erosion?
Right. So you can think of coastal erosion as sort of a loosening of the coast itself. So you have this, what we call the shoreline, and it's this dynamic space where the land and the sea meet. And it's not a fixed line, as you know. The sea goes back and forth, and the land tends to change over time, over decades and even thousands of years. So the coastline naturally evolves through this process of what we call erosion, where the material is removed and taken offshore, and what we call accretion, where material comes back and builds up on the coast. So erosion is essentially the removing of land material away from land.
I think why some people are hesitant is because with coastal erosion, as you mentioned, there's this cycle of erosion and accretion.
Right.
But do you believe there's some connection between climate change and rising sea levels and coastal erosion?
Yeah, definitely. So I always want to explain that, and I want to reinforce the point that the coast is a dynamic system, right? When you look at Guyana, for example, all of this, maybe even going further inland, was marshland, right? And through sort of years of what we call impolarization of the coast, we've put up seawalls and we've basically tried to keep the sea at bay. So the sea was a sort of accustomed to just kind of coming in because the land is low when the tide is high. So without any coastal defense, without anybody living here, that sea would have gone in and then come back naturally, right? As you settle on the land, now you have an issue, right? Because as I said, you've got agricultural activity, economic activity, people are living on the coast. What climate change does to that sort of natural process is that as the sea rises, its ability to go further inland increases. So its ability then to remove land, right, increases. So the potential for coastal erosion goes up as well. And so there's a direct link between rising sea levels and sort of coastline recession.
Dr. Dalrymple says more research specific to the Shell Beach area would prove insightful. Already though, the PSE, based on the information provided, believes that erosion has drastically decreased and changed the initial structure of the Almond Beach coastline and forced residents to migrate. Still, the PSE believes that Almond Beach, and wider Shell Beach, serves as a viable ground for nesting sea turtles. The situation is a bit more complicated for those who still live there. Sita's father, Liston Augustus, retired recently after teaching for decades. He knows he should probably move more inland, but fishing and farming on the beach are his main sources of income.
I haven't tried because I really don't have no other kind of alternative to where we can go and occupy a land to live, no? But that's why you have to still remain there, still have to be there yet.
So is a case where the coast coming in, is it coming up to your house or are you more inland?
Well, actually, it coming to coast or house. And when the water adjusts like this, 10 meters or even closer, we normally move again. Our house break down and we have to move again. The third time now since we keep moving on. It happens like every 3 years or more, depends on how fast the water coming in. Huh?
As long as the turtles continue nesting at the Shell Beach area, there will be efforts to monitor and protect them. But for the remaining residents who face losing their homes and livelihoods, inland migration may be their best bet. Benjamin said an area at Cairns Hill, another Indigenous community found much closer to Mabaruma, is being prepared for the remaining families. Some may move, but some may remain on the beach. Reporting for the newsroom, Vishani Ragobeer.